So what's a trust fund? A trust fund refers to the assets held inside of a trust. Now let's go ahead and take a look at each word. First, trust. A trust is simply a legal document that is written to hold property for another party's benefit. Now the fund. The fund consists of the assets held inside of the trust according to the trust terms. So the fund could be a bank account, stock market investments, and a real estate that the trust owns, for example. That's a trust fund. Hi, I'm the business guy, the CEO of Lawyers Limited and Asset Protection Planners, and I've been in the trust formation and asset protection business since 1991. Our company started in 1906. We have attorneys on staff who are experts in trust formation, so if you want to set up a trust, please go ahead and give us a call or visit our website below. And I work hard to put this information together, so if you could please click like and share this video with others, it would really help so YouTube promotes it. Many thanks. And on this channel, we try to get to the point, give you big value in a little time, so please click the subscribe button below so that when other videos come out like this, you'll be up to date right away. So just imagine never having to work another day for the rest of your life. Having a steady monthly income that comes in automatically from a trust fund set up by rich parents or grandparents. Getting to live the life of your dreams in your own yacht or private plane, to luxury vacations in Europe, Asia, and Australia. Having a second home in Dubai, in the south of France, a high-rise condo in Miami overlooking the beautiful white sandy beach. Just doing everything you enjoy and nothing you don't. Now, while the term trust fund conjures up images of high net worth individuals, middle-class people are increasingly turning to trust funds so their estates avoid probate. And probate is the legal process of transferring assets upon death. And a trust can avoid all the lawyers and judges and legal fees, so that you, instead of the judge, controls how your heirs receive your assets. Setting up a trust fund is one of the best ways to ensure financial security for your loved ones. This is because a trust can reduce the estate tax, eliminate probate, make investments, and schedule monthly distributions to you and your loved ones. Now, most importantly, certain types of trusts can protect your assets from lawsuits. After all, if a greedy law firm plunders your wealth, the prior points are moot. Moreover, a trust can provide these benefits during your lifetime and long after you've passed. So here we will discuss these advantages in detail. So the bottom line is, no matter what your net worth is, you can create a trust fund to provide financial security for yourself and your loved ones. Incidentally, you can even use a trust to protect them from themselves. That is, if you fear your heirs might not handle your inheritance properly, you can set up the trust fund to address these issues, such as making monthly distributions rather than having them blow through a big lump sum by buying a fleet of Ferraris in every color. Thus, with a trust fund, you can distribute your assets the way you'd like. A trust fund baby refers to a person, especially a younger individual, for whom the trust was established that provides sufficient income so the individual does not need to work to earn a living. Parents or grandparents typically establish such financial arrangements in trust that provide for the living expenses of a child, grandchild, or other individuals. For example, I knew a young man who was heir to the farmer who invented the baby carrot by simply cutting regular carrots into 2-inch sections and rounding each end. And as I recall, he received a regular income from the trust that will last his lifetime. The stereotypical image of a trust fund baby is that of an individual living a high society existence without having to put forth the entrepreneurial exertion required to produce such a lifestyle. In truth, however, according to thecut.com, those who receive trust funds represent fewer than 2% of the U.S. population. Moreover, the median amount received, they continue, is only about $285,000. Most, but not all people who are the beneficiaries of trust funds still need to work, and the trust simply provides single lump sum payments or ongoing supplemental income. Those who leave substantial estates behind often insert what is called a spendthrift provision into their trusts. That is, the trusts appoint a trustee who limits the trust's financial outgo. Those with the forethought often structure these arrangements to prevent young people from spending foolishly and burning through their inheritances. Among the most popular tools to create trust funds are inter vivos or living trusts. We call these tools revocable trusts. What this means is that the owner can make many sorts of changes to the trust during their lifetime. That includes changing or adding beneficiaries, moving assets in and out of the trust, and once the trust owner dies, however, the living trust becomes irrevocable. Its provisions are not subject to change. A living trust does not hold significant income advantages. It can, however, have significant estate tax advantages for trust fund recipients. This is because the trust can divide assets into two sub-trusts, Trust A for the first spouse and Trust B for the second spouse. Typically, it works this way. When one spouse dies, the the other spouse has full access to one of the subtrusts. The surviving trust can access the income the other trust fund produces, but when both die, this arrangement doubles the amount that heirs can receive estate tax-free, one from one subtrust and one from the other. Moreover, when you set up a living trust, your estate does not go through probate, and probate is the legal process of proving that a will is valid. And as we said, this typically involves lawyers, i.e. legal fees, and a judge must approve the probate process. Consequently, there are often substantial probate fees that are due as part of the process. Plus, probate is a very public ordeal that lays assets out in the broad daylight of the public records. Thus, people often turn to such trusts to protect privacy. They use them to reduce or eliminate estate taxes and probate fees. In addition, they can use them to speed up the asset distribution to beneficiaries. For financial and estate planning purposes, several types of trusts are available, but the two of interest to the most people are the aforementioned inter vivos trust and the testamentary trust. While similar to an irrevocable trust, a person's will creates a testamentary trust fund. That means it does not exist prior to the individual's death. A settlor, also known as a grantor, is the person creating and funding the trust fund. This individual also determines the trust management terms. The trustee, which is often an individual or financial institution, is the entity responsible for overseeing the trust. Now, with many revocable trusts, the settlor is also the trustee. The settlor establishes the trust fund for the current or future beneficiaries. The beneficiary does not own the trust assets, rather the trustee manages trust assets in the best interest of the beneficiaries stated in the trust agreement. The settlor names the beneficiaries and the trustee. Now, beneficiaries receiving money from the trust will find how often the money is distributed depends on the stipulations in the terms of the trust. Beneficiaries might receive all of the proceeds in one lump sum, or receive payments on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. Now, living trusts are set up during the grantor's lifetime, and typically the grantor is also the trustee, so they manage the assets. Professionals often design a revocable trust to end with the grantor's death, with assets distributed to the beneficiaries. While the grantor lives, he or she may buy and sell trust assets and move them in and out of the trust. The grantor reports all trust income on his or her tax returns. When the grantor dies, and the trust becomes irrevocable, someone values the assets for estate purposes as of the grantor's date of death. Oftentimes, we establish trusts for clients that are irrevocable from the start. Most settlors establish these instruments to keep creditors away from the assets. In addition, these trusts can significantly lower estate taxes. With an irrevocable trust, the grantor transfers assets into the trust and can receive income or lump sums according to the terms of the trust. Certain types of irrevocable trusts must file their own tax returns each year. Others simply flow through to the tax returns of the settlor without separate filings. When a person sets up an irrevocable trust without naming themselves as beneficiary, assets in such a trust are not part of the grantor's estate. Some irrevocable trusts are quite detailed, and unlike revocable trusts, they can provide substantial asset protection benefits. That is, when a lawsuit strikes, the trust can shield the trust fund from legal attacks. The irrevocable trust often continues beyond the grantor's death, and as a result, it may continue making distributions to certain beneficiaries. In these situations, the tax code considers these distributions as taxable income payable at the beneficiary's rates. Now, the strongest asset protection trusts include the Cook Islands Trust. The Cook Islands are south of Hawaii, and the Nevis Trust, N-E-V-I-S, and the Caribbean. The domestic courts do not have jurisdiction over trustees in these countries. Plus, these two regions do not recognize foreign judgments that might attempt to attach to the trust fund, and in our case, the trustees consist of our law firm. Beneficiaries have some rights when it comes to trust funds, but understanding the provisions of the trust is critical. If a beneficiary does not understand how the settlor originally designed the trust and how it operates, he should contact an estate planning specialist. The specialist will explain the process and check to make sure the trust is operating as written. Now, current beneficiaries of trust funds may request in writing an accounting of the trust from the trustee. These beneficiaries should receive the payments granted to them by the terms of the trust. And when a beneficiary does not feel a trustee is acting in their best interest, it is possible to file a court petition for trustee removal. Beneficiaries receiving money from a trust fund account collect their funds as per the terms of the trust. For example, a beneficiary may receive all of the funds in a lump sum or payments that are sent on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. Now, we often get people calling us asking us to check to see if they have a trust fund somewhere. Now, if you have to ask if you have one, you don't. How do I know? That's been the answer 100% of the time from 31 years of experience. Plus, trusts are generally not recorded in the public records, so there would not be a truly reasonable way for us to find out. If you have one, the trustee will tell you, not us. And don't fall for those anonymous emails. They're scams. In conclusion, a trust fund simply consists of assets within a trust. There are a variety of trusts that hold such funds, and the best step is to contact a professional who can discuss your particular needs. There's a number you can call below. In addition, you can complete a free consultation form on our website. Please like this video below, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. See you next time. This is The Business Guy.